Wisconsin goes to Donald Trump.
There you go. No. I think that's it.
10 electoral votes in Wisconsin going to Donald Trump.
I think it's over.
That makes a moot point of Michigan, but that puts him tantalizingly close to the number he'll need to close this deal. We're not in that position yet.
One question will be, how much of the people in the
party...
So
we're saying that Trump wins Wisconsin. So Sky is calling Trump winning Wisconsin there.
And we started the evening talking about how Trump would have to run the table. He'd have to win all the swing states. He'd have to flip some of the Democratic states. There's really not a path forward. And we just saw Maine split. So we earlier thought, was there even a path to 269 to 269?
I think in retrospect, clearly Democrats will look back on this and think that Hillary Clinton was the wrong person at this moment. Her experience, she was always playing defense in the debates about her experience. This is an unusual thing in modern American politics for a candidate's experience to be used against them continually. She was able to get very little traction from that. And so in that sense, Trump was the man who just was able to ride that wave. And he's done it because he's a TV reality star. And what does that mean? It means that he knows how to talk to people. He kind of thinks he knows how they tick. He's an entertainment guy. He's a branding guy. That's what his business is about.
But have we moved on from politics as it's always been? Is this the
unquestionably?
The
I mean, people will look at this and will say, what accountability is there for candidates running for office in this country and probably other countries for saying things that are fact checkable or not? I mean, what responsibilities are on a candidate even to develop a suite of policies? Trump set up a policy apparatus and has never really used it. What he's got are incredibly powerful slogans.
Well, he's largely built hotels and condominiums. Is that good training for running the country?
Well, we're about to find out.
Lastly, the one thing about Trump, ideology is dead. He killed it.
Hold on.
Stand by.
There's a big old call to make right now, and that is Fox News is projecting that Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, and there goes her blue wall. That's 10 electoral votes. That brings Trump up to 232, and he has officially pierced the blue wall that she needed to hold on to, which is momentous. Wisconsin was barely in play.
But Donald Trump at 232 electoral votes is now 38 electoral votes away from winning the presidency of the United States of America.
Just to pick up on what Greg was saying before the break, and Michael Moore, who knows white working class voters, has made movies about them, grew up in Michigan. This is basically what he said. Now, he's not a Trump fan. He basically said, you're going to blow up the system and you're going to be sorry about it. But the point he was making before he got to the end was, I actually have the quote here, Joe Blow, Steve Blow, Bob Blow, all the blows get to go and blow up the whole G-damn system because that's your right. Trump's election is going to be the biggest FU ever recorded in human history. Right. And it will feel good. And then he said, for a day, and he predicted doom and gloom after that. But he understands this group of people, this group of voters, Kimberly.
Yes.
And had been saying all along to the Democrats, dismiss him at your own peril.
You're right, and he started saying it on your show.
We have a major projection right now. Take a look at this. CNN now projects that Donald Trump will carry the state of Wisconsin. He will win Wisconsin with its 10 electoral votes. He's cracked the so-called blue wall that Hillary Clinton had tried to create. Donald Trump wins Wisconsin. Take a look at this. 92% of the vote is in. He's up by 75,000 votes plus 10 electoral votes. Donald Trump, the winner in Wisconsin. Let's take a look at the Electoral College map right now with that win in Wisconsin. Look at how close he is. Right now, he has 257 electoral votes. He needs 13 more, 270, to be elected president of the United States. Hillary Clinton remains at 215. Let's go over to Jake and Dana. He is getting incredibly, incredibly close, Jake.
And the wall comes tumbling down. This is the blue wall that Hillary Clinton had talked about. This is a state that Hillary Clinton hasn't even visited since the Democratic convention over the summer. And it's stunning. Look, the last time it was close, I believe was in 2000. But since then, Democrats have won the state. This is a state that voted for Mike Dukakis over George H.W. Bush. I mean, this is a reliably Democratic state. I mean, this is truly the beginning of the end for Hillary Clinton's campaign.
The Clinton campaign simply took Wisconsin for granted.
There was a lot of talk over the last month and a question at a presidential debate just for Donald Trump, not for Hillary Clinton, about whether or not he would accept the results of this election. And the idea that we are being told by one of the campaigns they're not going to have a comment when we are just one state projection away from there being a president-elect declared by the media is remarkable. And I agree with those who are saying if the tables were turned, if it were reversed, there would be a lot of outcry by people in the media and others about Donald Trump's behavior. I recognize that these are difficult moments for individuals. I don't mean to make light of that or belittle that at all. But this is also a moment for the entire nation, for the entire United States. If Donald Trump ends up winning, which certainly could happen, the idea that the other candidate is not going to concede after that happens, while we're all still awake, it's only 2:30 in the morning, that's remarkable. And I have to say, there is a nation going on here. It's not just one candidate and her supporters. There is an entire United States of America.
This notion of the first woman president, David Chell, of the United States, so many people thought that was almost certain, but the polls indicated that it probably didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen, and there will be a lot of going back and looking at the polls in this race and polling in general. There's no doubt about that, But to Jake's point about how the Clinton campaign saw these states, I can't stress enough. Wisconsin and Michigan, they were never considered battlegrounds by the Clinton campaign, ever. That was on a different list for them. So this is clearly coming as a big surprise to them as well. You remember in 2004, it all came down to Ohio, and John Kerry did not come out and speak that night. But the entire election was hanging on that one state. Right. There are enough states out here to put Donald Trump over 270 that it is surprising to me that they are not waiting that out, because it's not like the entire election is hanging on one state that just doesn't look like it will get projected.
Outstanding. We have New Hampshire, we have Maine, we have Pennsylvania, we have Wisconsin, we have Michigan, we have Arizona. I mean, he needs one of them, right?
The Hilton Hotel in Manhattan. And I don't think that's very far from Trump Tower. I don't remember the addresses in New York City, but they're pretty close together. Very close. The Associated Press is calling Wisconsin, so that puts him over the top. Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. We can project it on the basis of an Associated Press report that Donald Trump will win the state of Wisconsin. That is 10 more electoral votes. 269, 279, you need 270 to be president. Our next president will be Donald Trump.
Wow.
So.
Wow. It's just, you have to give it to him, and you just have to take a breath and say, wow, and to say, this is really and truly the most unbelievable thing that any of us have seen in our lifetimes, and to understand that this is not something that anyone had predicted. A year ago,
the Trump people.
Even the Trump people, the Trump people were not predicting this. Even the Trump people were saying, yeah, well, we got this narrow path, and this has to go right, and that has to go right. Their own modeling didn't have this.
What a roller coaster, Stuart Stevens. I mean, when you think about the Trump announcement coming down the escalator, blaming Mexicans for coming across the border as rapists and murderers, and it's taken off from there.
I I've expressed it tonight what I think about this. I think that those are very unfortunate appeals, not to the best of us, but the worst of us. And in my world, it would have been better for Republican leadership to call that out and to make it clear that this was unacceptable.
What a moment, David Brooks. We've watched this man emerge from the celebrity hood of reality television, step into American politics and transform it in the span of 16 months. Where are we? From June of 2015 to November 2016.
Yeah, I'm just hoping victory doesn't give him a big ego. I don't know what kind of president he's going to be. We're in for choppy waters here. And he's not a guy who's assembled a team. He's got to now really actually assemble a cabinet, assemble a political staff with thousands of people. He's got to really master some decisions. He's in charge of the nuclear codes. I think to say we know that this presidency is going to look like any other presidency is probably a mistake. There's a big difference between a conservative and a reactionary. And in my view, what Trump represents is a reactionary force, which can be quite radical. And he looks to the past and says, I want to return to that.
We've just heard that Hillary Clinton has called, two networks report Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede, and they must be putting up some new results at Trump headquarters because the crowd seems to be reacting. Again, we're just learning that Hillary Clinton has telephoned Donald Trump to concede to him, and we were told a few minutes ago that Donald Trump is in the building at the Hilton Hotel in New York, where Jeffrey Brown started out the evening saying they was just going to have a party there. It wasn't going to be your traditional big election night rally, but starting to look like an election night celebration.